you use, which I love, because growing up, I loved X-Men and Marvel Comics and heroes. Maybe it's the boy in me, maybe it's just the human in me that loves seeing somebody who has identified their gifts and abilities. I know you describe humans and people having superpowers. So can you just speak into that a little bit and to give some context to what that means for you?
Yeah. Well, I love the little boys in the world, and what's been created with those myths, those stories, and bless your throat. And I like to play. I like to have fun, and so I use the idea of superpowers because it's playful, and because I think having a bit of a language, a bit of an orientation around what are some of the things that oftentimes when we're little kids get shut down. You know, so many people I talk to describe being a small boy or girl, whatever their journey was like, you know, growing up, and then something was happening that was peculiar. Something was happening for them that didn't fit into societal norms, and they were, you know, shut down. They were told it's just your imagination, you're making things up, this or that, instead of kind of embracing what was coming through. And so there's like an ability that, and sometimes that's true when we're small, not always, for these superpowers. But just as an example, I know a lot of people can relate to that. I'm curious, I mean, when I look back on my childhood, there are different moments where I sort of see that. I'm curious if you have any memories like that when you were little.
I can honestly say that I didn't have any visions or dreams of leading men's circles as a boy. You know, that was something that was not on my radar, not even until I was in my early to mid 20s. So, but what did stand out when I think about that, I'm actually really grateful for that question because it's giving me some clarity. I was always inspired by leaders and leadership. I still to this day, my guilty pleasure is watching samurai movies and war movies where there's like a rallying of a people to go up against the cause. I've always been a rebel. I've always been Bob Marley, you know, revolutionary at heart. And so that's something that's been consistent with me since I was a child. And it's being expressed right now in a way that I could have never foreseen. But it's very consistent too, because it's something that was always beckoning my heart. And I think differently than it just impacts all of us, because all of us appreciate seeing somebody powerfully embodying their vision and living their purpose. But there's something more to it for me. It was about uniting people and bringing people together. And I do think that that's a core part of the mission that I ultimately have taken on.
Oh, I see that for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Yeah. And so there's the qualities when we're little and we look up, you know, whether it's the samurai or the X-Men or whoever, there's like qualities that others may embody that we admire. And so what would it mean to really activate those parts of ourselves and then use the power of that, the life force of that, those gifts to move our visions forward? And absolutely, I think we need people who can hold things like what you're holding with Rising Me Out. I'm holding like these visions of like beauty, harmony, peace, right? Like building the things, right? You're doing it with your community. We talked a little bit about community earlier. And so how do we like really create what our visions are in this reality?